Welcome back. We try to keep the schedule as it is because of the streaming, not to have people there waiting. And now it's time to get to the concrete results and talk about the Central Baltic Programme. We will continue with the presentation about the program given by Merike Niitepõld, who is the head of Managing Authority. And after that presentation, we will also have time for questions.
Okay, thank you, Kersti, and nice to see all of you here. As has been said, it's my pleasure to tell you about the Central Baltic Programme and how we fit into this bigger picture that you've already heard about today. So we're one of the 60 cross-border cooperation programs that have been mentioned, and I'm trying really in my presentation to link all the strategies, all the frameworks that both Agnes and Baiba talked about, and talking about really what does this mean in practice, trying to bring a level of action into the day, and then we'll be moving closer and closer into action as the day goes along. In the presentations earlier, I was really happy to kind of pick up a lot of familiar words, which really for me emphasizes that the Central Baltic Programme, as other funding programs, are very much streamlined and in line with the bigger strategies like EU 2020 or the EU SBSR. So these have been really considered by us already when we were drafting the program together with many stakeholders. Just as a brief reminder, I will put up a slide with our 4 thematic or 4 priorities and 11 specific objectives. These were on a general level mentioned by Agnes already earlier, but here you see then the 11 themes that we specifically work with, and you also already got examples of what could be the indicators and the really concrete activities that we are looking to fund under these 11 objectives. Also, I would like to point out that we have 2 horizontal objectives: access to and use of ICT, and also low carbon economy. So these are things that we would like to see in all or any of our projects under any of the 11 themes. So when we talk about what results we expect and what concrete activities we expect for the Central Baltic Programme in the upcoming period, these are the themes. Also, just to clarify, this is our program area. This is where we focus. So really also geographically, I'm trying to put the Central Baltic Programme in a focus and in a context. So as you've understood from the earlier talks, the strategies that this program helps to implement are in a much bigger context, but we then focus on cooperation between Estonia, Latvia, Sweden and Finland, and the Åland Islands specifically mentioned together with our member states. And really, as I said, when the program was drafted, when these thematic objectives were put in place, we really considered the bigger strategies and the frameworks. So it's really easy for us to see the links between the program, and therefore we also very much expect that the projects that will receive funding will mostly and almost automatically be implementing also several of the larger strategies. But of course that's also something we want to highlight for the projects and for also for you to see how this program can be one concrete way of implementing these larger strategies. And not least importantly, we have money that a strategy and a document does not have. So we have 115 million in total to really give to good projects that help us to achieve what we want to see in this region. And what is it then that we want to achieve, and what is the way to get there? I think one of the words that you will hear most often from me today, and also up until 2022 somewhere, is results. I will say this a lot. You can count how many times I have lost count already by now, because this is what we talk about all the time. In this new period, with the very good support and pressure also from the Commission, all programs really must work with focused, clear themes and specifying what it is that we want to change, what are the results that we want to achieve. And this is really, I think, something that is very much welcomed by us who deal with the programs and with the projects on a daily basis, because it really gives us a meaning. We are doing something important, and we can show it by, at some point, starting to show results that come out of all the money that we spent and all the hours of work that we put into our projects and program. When we drafted the program, put together the 11 themes or specific objectives, as they are called, we really thought about what it is that we want to achieve in this cross-border context. What are the things for which cooperation between our countries is the most relevant? We also thought about what we can do with our limited resources. 115 million for projects is a lot of money, but it still does not solve all problems, so we really had to think about where to put this money, where do we focus so that we can get impact in the early 20s. So we really tried to be clear, use this SMART principle of measurable and realistic and all the other letters of this nice word, to define our result indicators in a way that they also reflect for you in a very clear way what the program wants to achieve. So anyone who's looking at applying for a project, I certainly would recommend, and I know that my colleagues also say this all the time, look at really the result indicators that have been specified for each project, each program specific objective, because they will tell you what we as a program have set as our objective. And of course we are really looking forward to these good project ideas that help us achieve these results. We talk about results really at all stages of program implementation. We talked about it when we set up the program. We talk about it when we consult projects, which we will also now very actively do. We talk about and we think about this when we assess projects, when we approve projects for funding, and then when we follow projects during their lifetime, and when we monitor and evaluate the success of the project. And also on a program level, we will do evaluations of the impact and see whether the projects altogether really helped us achieve what it was that we wanted. I think one of the things that this new approach really brings along is new accountability. So we have been very clear in saying what it is that we want to achieve. We have set numeric targets, and that means that we ourselves, but also the Commission, our member states, you as taxpayers, can follow this up later. So you will see in 2022-23 whether we, for instance, have 15 small ports with improved services or not. So it's also a way for you to see whether we've done a good job and whether we've identified the right projects among you all there. In Agnes's presentation, the performance reserve was mentioned, that this is a tool really from the Commission to also measure our success. So we have a milestone and we need to achieve certain targets by that milestone through the projects that we fund. And that's actually also a new feature. So unless we are on a good way to meet the targets and we can really numerically prove this, the program will actually not get all of its funds. So really this focus on results is built in not only as nice words and ambitions, but it's also kind of in hard evidence and money. One of the things that I'm really happy about today is that you already heard some practical examples, but you will hear many more during today. So first, before lunch, you will hear from other programs in this area, but then after lunch, you will hear from a project that was funded in the Central Baltic Programme in the previous period. And also, as was mentioned, there's this KEEP database of which you have a flyer. So if you're interested in all the good work that has been done so far, then really go and have a look at the database, and all our future projects will also be presented there together with all other projects from ETC programs across Europe. Another word that we talk about all the time and I've used almost as often as results is simplification. This is another really big thing that we've considered for the upcoming period. I certainly agree with the saying, simple is beautiful. Let's not make things overly complicated. Let's think about why we do something, why we require something. EU funds, I think, are often linked with a lot of rules and regulations and management, and that will, of course, continue. I'm not promising that you don't have to report and you will just get 1 million or 2 here and there, but we are really trying to cut on the unnecessary documentation or unnecessary requirements that we cannot justify. So we are in all of our work really trying to think about why do we need something? Why do we ask for something? How do we use this information? And then really by that motivating the requirements. And also, of course, I think it's we've been talking about money and 115 million going to projects. I think it's quite understandable by anyone who's even done personal finance management that you want to use money in a wise way, and you don't want the wrong things to be paid for. You don't want fraud to occur. So I think that level of controls will also always remain, but this focusing on results, I think, is also part of this simplification. They go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. We want to focus on results, what the projects achieve, what you do, not on how nicely you filled in a report, how many documents you attached, and whether the comma place is in the right place, or whether the letter A is included in your email or not. So this is something that I also think inspires us working for the program to really kind of do a meaningful and good job. And I hope that it's something that you as beneficiaries will notice and will appreciate. And this is also something where we've really been listening to the feedback from the projects, from the stakeholders, also internally from our colleagues, and really identified the places where we can make things smoother and more simple. At one point during programming, I made a promise that our simplification efforts should not be just an empty promise and nothing becomes easier. I don't have my simplification list to present today, but if anyone is interested, I do have a 3-slide list of simplifications, and I just before this counted that we have 18 measures some of them are quite small, but technically small, but hopefully still very relevant. Some of them are extremely big, such as having an online application and monitoring system, which is a vast undertaking. But so at least 18 ways we've found of making our project's life easier, and we're excited to see then how these steps are shown in practice, and how the projects notice a difference. I hope they notice a difference. We are in the very lucky position of being quite well advanced as a program. You heard already in the first presentation that our program was approved by the Commission in December already. 2 days after the official approval, we launched our first call. And I'm very happy to say that actually we already have 2 projects ongoing. So 2 of our projects started on the 1st of May. I'm not sure if anyone from those projects is present here. Maybe not. But they are so actively working that they didn't have time to come setting up things. And I think this first call was a really good way for us to put all of this talk about results into practice and see really whether we live as we teach, and I'm really happy to say that I think that this whole result orientation and this talk about results has come through, and we found in absolutely most of our projects that the projects have very well understood this requirement. They have understood our result indicators and they refer to them. And we could see that the projects that were either approved directly or were let onto the second step are helping us already to a very high level to meet our targets. So we feel very confident that the program is already on a good track. You may already have heard that we got a lot of applications, so there has been a lot of interest towards the program. But I will, in the next slide and the next minutes, talk about then the upcoming calls also and what we expect for those. But some things still about the first call and the findings that we have been able to pick up already, really, and tips for anyone here who might be interested in applying for projects in a later call, really is that results are the key. We absolutely always look at whether the project brings us the results that we had expected. Very much looking at the result indicators, looking at whether this project will help us meet the targets that we have set. So I'm really absolutely sure that no project at this stage can have been proposed further without a clear contribution and a strong emphasis on this criteria. Another thing that is extremely crucial for us and again very strongly linked to actually being able to reach the promised results is the partnership. One of the simplifications has been that we allow for technically for much larger variety of organizations to act as partners. The other side of the coin is then that we look very much on the relevance of the partners. Are these the right partners to achieve these results? Can these partners achieve these results? Do they have the authority? Also, we are looking at whether the partnership is balanced. Is it focused? We don't really want to see partnerships with the 20 partners just for the sake of it, but we want rather to see a smaller number of relevant and good partners. something that I think is also kind of a very easy and clear way of defining what it is that we want is the difference between important and interesting projects. Is there a need for your project? A need in this region, a need in your thematic area? Is it something that is important? I think we can all get excited and interested in a variety of topics, but the interesting topics may not always be important for the region. So this is one of the things that we have looked at a lot. Doing things together is a precondition in cross-border cooperation. So having partners from across the border, doing things really together, those are the key words, and I would emphasize the word doing, which again links to my favorite word, results. So in this program, we really want to see change. We want to see results, and we want to see active doing. So we don't so much want to see networking, planning, thinking, writing, and then putting things away in a shelf and feeling happy and moving on with things, but we really want to maybe see some planning and preparing and research as part of the project, but then taking all these good thoughts into real action and to real measurable results. Another part of this doing it together is my strong urging to use our help. During today, those of you who are here live will see people with a blue neck ribbon. That indicates that these people work for the Central Baltic Programme, and they are here for you. They are also, of course, here for you after this event, so we all have emails and phones and other ways of getting in touch with us. Specifically, I would like to mention that we have really the contact points in all of our countries. They have their stands and they're luring you with chocolate, so go and visit them. But also, after this conference, use the national contact points as a way of getting information about the program, getting some initial ideas and information about whether your project idea fits the program. And then the other group of people that I would like to specifically mention is our project team. So there are 5 people somewhere in this room who work 100% of their working time with projects, with consulting, with later assessing and monitoring. And they have no greater wish than to talk to you before you submit your project application, to give you good tips, to guide you, to give you an indication of whether the project idea really has all the features that we are looking for, what maybe to think about before submitting the application. So really, none of us bites. We're all extremely friendly and helpful people. I cannot emphasize this enough. Use us. So the first call is ongoing, but as said, there will be more opportunities to come with good, focused, relevant project ideas. The second call dates have been announced, so the second call will be held in the autumn, starting on the 24th of August. And then we will have calls also later, but the information on the actual dates will be presented on our website once we've done some more planning and thinking about the deadlines. Maybe roughly we could say that the third call will be held with a little bit of time in between the second and third, so maybe there will be approximately a year between these. And in general, we will keep opening calls as long as we have funds available. Anyone who's seen the statistics for our first call might have realized that we got, I think, 160-something% of our money applied for in the first call. That might sound very scary to you. It also was a bit daunting for us who had to assess all the projects. But to reassure everyone in this room and on the other side of the camera, we have measures for ensuring that not all the money will be spent in the first call. So there's absolutely and definitely going to be a second call, and there will also be more calls. There will be a third call also, certainly. So if you have a good idea, do not hesitate, do not waste time. Also, start preparing now, start talking to your partners, start drafting. We will also get very, very good support in the afternoon on really how to create this partnership and how to work with your partners. I'm sure this will be extremely helpful for anyone looking at the second or third call. Really, the experience shows that preparing a good project application takes time. It does take time to build trust, to really know what the partners want, to have all the plans ready. So whether you're thinking about second, third or fourth call, start now anyway. Maybe as a small teaser also, I would mention that we didn't get fully equal amounts of applications in the different priorities or in our sub-programs. So especially transport projects, we are hoping to see more of. We already got some very good and promising ones, but that's one field that is quite new to our program. So we're really hoping also to see more applications in this field. And then not unfortunately relevant for Latvia as such, but for other countries, we have one sub-program focusing on archipelago and island-specific topics. And that's also kind of a region where we really want to see more projects and more good ideas activated. But in any case, the second call is open for all priorities in the autumn. So that's a promise we can make, and there will be money available then. So with these words, I hope that I have given you a little bit of inspiration and new ideas looking towards the future. And then, as said, you will hear concrete examples from both our program and other programs, and then also get to really, in practice, work with being a partner and developing your partnership skills. But then I'm open for questions if anyone has something on their mind. No, seems not. Then thank you.
Thank you, Merike. As Merike mentioned, we will all be here for the whole day and also after the event. So you're always welcome to come to us to discuss, consult, or ask. And this is what we are here for. We will now continue with more concrete results. And we will start, as I said, we have 3 programs. We have Estonia-Latvia, Latvia-Lithuania, and South Baltic here today to share their success stories. And we will start off with the first one, Estonia-Latvia, presented by Peeter, Head of Secretariat. Could you come here, Peeter, and open your special presentation? And after that, they will each have 12 minutes to present their success story in a very compact way. And after that, we will hear more after lunch about the project success story with their own voice.
Does it work? Oh yeah, it does. I put the chair also here because soon we'll be watching a video, so I can watch it with you. My name is Peeter. I work for the Estonia-Latvia program. Did I unplug something? Yes, no, maybe? Is it still on? Yeah? Okay. It was just very loud in the beginning, so I thought that it should be so loud all the time. So my name is Peeter. I work for the Estonia-Latvia program, and this is the first car I have drawn for the program, because our program's presentation will be about the cars. But to be in line with all the strategies, it's a low carbon car, meaning it drives on electricity. And my 7-year-old son helped to create another version of the same car. And it works on electricity, and it's not really the size of a real car. It's like 1/30th of the real car. So there are some important features of this car on the screen. So first of all, that it weighs about 100 grams. So 100 grams is like a chocolate bar. And as you already have noticed, maybe I have a very family-focused presentation. So this chocolate was brought from Paris by my girlfriend. And I think it's one of the most expensive chocolates I've ever eaten. You can't, at least in Estonia, you can't buy it in the shop. Maybe in Sweden or Finland. Maybe even in Åland. And by the way, the chocolate from Åland was just perfect, with a touch of Venezuelan rum. Okay, so this chocolate is one of the most expensive I've ever eaten, but these cars, they cost, and they weigh like also 100 grams, but they really cost more, around 400 euros. And they go like 100 kilometers an hour, so you can imagine like chocolate bars going 100 kilometers an hour. What is good thing about them is that there is a little pin under these cars, so they are in the slot. So if you imagine like a slot of 2 rails, there is a pin under the car, and the car is going like, and the tracks are really like curvy. So the most common mistake what drivers do is driving too fast, so they are thrown out of the slots. How many of you don't have driver's license? Okay. So slot cars you can drive also without the driver's license. So this presentation is really for all. And I will now start the video showing the history of this slot car driving. Oh no, not yet. Video after this slide. This is also important. So this is Riga, where we are. Can you see also from the back row? Yes, Riga, very small, because it's not important in the context of my presentation. So here is Limbaži, real huge metropole of 9,000 inhabitants, around 90 kilometers from Riga. And here is Sindi, right next to Pärnu, around 4,000 inhabitants. And distance between them is 130 kilometers. So the heroes of this this project, this presentation, come from Sindi and Limbaži. By the way, Sindi was established by a businessman from Riga, so it's all very interconnected, 200 years ago. After his factory was burned down in Poland, so South Baltic link we also have in this presentation. So a guy from Riga had a factory in Poland, it was burned down. He decided why not to establish it in Sindi. In 1830, established it. 200 years later, some guys started a joint project on slot car racing. But first I will show you a historical background of this auto model racing in Estonia and Latvia, which we managed to find in Latvian archive, and some photos from Sindi also. And the video, can you put the lights down, please, as we agreed? Thank you. So then we can see it better. I will make the screen bigger. Okay, so about 2 minutes of video watching.
Ļeņingradas, Igaunijas, Lietuvas un Latvijas automodelisti bija ieradušies uz sacensībām Rīgas kartodromā. Viņi demonstrēja 40 modeļus. Liekas rotaļlietas, bet ātrums 150 km/h.
See on natuke volume a bit.
Sindis hakkas see automodelismi pihta 70. aastal. Ja siis hakkasin kohe rada ehitama. Muidugi vahepeal käisin vaatamas, siis oli juba üks rada oli Nõmmel, teine rada oli Haapsalus, see oli ka üks väike rada tegelikult, see oli suured. Ja selle järgi hakkasin tegema ja mis seal oli.
Okay, so in Sindi there was something, you saw there's a Baltic championship in Riga. In Limbaži there was nothing. But it's also a story of two guys, Jānis from Latvia and Johannes from Estonia. And soon you will see how important Johannes and Jānis are in the context of this story. And Johannes, originally being from Sindi, this 4,000 inhabitant big city close to Pärnu, he was working elsewhere, but he lost his job in around 95. So he moved back to hometown, Sindi, and then he started this kind of slot car racing in Sindi anew, because something already was there. And in 1997, he got in contact with Jānis Rage-Ragis in Latvia, very famous guy. And so they were thinking, or they were actually doing cooperation for 13 years before they decided that I think it's time to write a cooperation project. So quite a preparation time and quite a trust-building time. Although trust, I think, was there more or less immediately. So no rushing, like real old-school way. And now, as the subtitles, I don't know how well you can actually see them. The first subtitles start that then I got contact with Jānis. This then is 1998, actually. So now let's continue with kind of the project part, or what happened, how they opened these tracks in Sindi and Limbaži.
Ja siis tekkis mul ka kontakt Jānisega, ja tema käest ma need mudelijupid saingi. Tegelikult niimoodi, et mul ei olnud veel nagu otse kontakte see Parma ja Kohvort ja mis nad siin on, kõik just toodavad neid juppe. Et Ilmar Piir Haapsalust andis mulle Jānise kontakti, et tema käest andis mudelijupid ja oli ka niimoodi, et paar aastat vist siis niimoodi suhtlesime Jānisega ja siis korraga Jānis ütleb, et Johannes, ehitasin uus rada, korralik rada. Aga ikkagi selle uue raja või korraliku raja saamise see valu oli või soov oli ikka kuskil sepitses ja ajad muutusid natukene ja siis ma leidsin Eesti-Läti koostööprogrammist võimaluse ja rääkisin Jānisele, et kuule, ma kirjutan see projekti. Meeskond sai kokku pandud ja siin me siis nüüd oleme.
Очень хорошая трасса теперь в Эстонии по международным стандартам соответствует таким требованиям, что можно организировать любые соревнования любого ранга. Ну и что хорошо, что через год в июне здесь будет чемпионат Северной Европы. Для Синди, я думаю, это большое мероприятие, принимать людей из Европы.
Limbažu bērniem, jauniešiem un iespējams arī pieaugušajiem interesantiem turpmāk būs par vienu brīvā laika pavadīšanas iespēju vairāk. Limbažu ģimnāzijas telpās atklāta automodelisma trase. Tā tapusi pārrobežu sadarbības projekta ietveros un tāda pat trase uzbūvēta arī Sindī pašvaldībā Igaunijā. Trases būvētais Jānis Raģis šajā jomā ir ļoti pieredzējis un lielākā daļa Baltijas valstīs esošo automodelismu trašu ir viņa roku darbs. Par šī projekta ietveros būvētajām viņš atzīst, ka patīkami bijis strādāt, jo Eiropas fonda līdzfinansējuma dēļ nav nācies knapināties.
Trasu nav ar roku taisīt, kā dara parasti, lai to naudu ekonomē. Mēs varējām atļauties uz CNC aparātu un griezt, tā teikt, tā kā tur viss ir līdz milimetram pēdējā vietā ļoti precīzi un labi.
Okay, so the project was over, and why we also chose this project is that it was our smallest project. Altogether, we had 67 projects financed from 36 million. So you can see that 67, 36, so average bit over 500,000. But this one was 29,000 euros ERDF for 1.5 year project. So you see that the real fans and enthusiasts of a project, they don't need money really for keeping their institutions running or keeping the project managers on the payroll. They really like what they're doing. So this is like really great. And they said already during the project that definitely this is not it. And now you will see that they managed to bring world championships of slot car racing to Limbaži. So if you think of money spent on bringing, for example, Olympic Games to your home country. So people in Limbaži, so they got, I think, roughly half of this 29,000. So let's say 15,000 for bringing world championships, and it's real world championship. It's not some kind of mini world championship, like including guys from, I think 4 guys from New Zealand. So I think many Latvians haven't been to Limbaži. And I'm sure majority of New Zealanders also haven't. But they had guys from, I think, Brazil, New Zealand, of course, also closer countries. And some real race marshals from the US, because I think in 2015 the World Championships will be in Czech Republic and 2016 in the United States. So it's like Limbaži, yeah. So this is what happened afterwards. So this is the result of this spending 29,000 euros by guys who really love what they're doing. So.
Vēl nebijusi rosība visu šo nedēļu valda Limbažu kultūras centrā, kur norit pasaules čempionāts trases automodelismā. Uz mazpilsētu sabraukuši vairāk kā 100 šī tehniskā sporta veida cienītāji no 15 valstīm. Vis tālāk braukušie viesi ir no Brazīlijas un Jaunzēlandes. Rīkot šo vērienīgo pasākumu Limbažiem uzticēts, jo tieši Limbažos pagājušajā gadā izveidota pilnīgi jauna automodelisma trase, kas atbilst pasaules čempionāta organizēšanas standartiem.
Es jūtos ļoti labi, un man šķiet, ka šis ir viens no vislabāk noorganizētajiem pasaules čempionātiem. Trasē ar tās taisnēm un līkumiem ir aizraujoša. Jātrenējas tikai un jābrauc.
Today went really well. The organization here in Limbaži has done an excellent job preparing everything.
Čempionāta tiesnesis Endijs Vassermans no Ņujorkas pastāstīja, ka sacensību dalībnieku parādītie laiki bijuši ļoti tuvi un nav bijis tā, ka kādam tas krasi būtu mainījies. Sacensību laikā daži mainījuši stratēģiju, tāpēc uzvarētājs nav bijis nosakāms uzreiz. Viņš uzskata, ka šāds pasākums Latvijā ir vienreizējs, un viss ir norisinājies kā paredzēts un ļoti labā organizatoriskā līmenī. Pēc ļoti spraigas cīņas par pasaules čempionu kļuva valmierietis Jānis Nabokins, kurš ar automodelismu nodarbojas jau kopš 5 gadu vecuma.
Sākais Valmierā, līdz pat kaut kādam 2001. gadam. Būtībā tā Valmieras tehnikas stacija ir tas pamats, kur iemāca visu, kas ar mazām mašīnītēm varētu būt saistīts un vajadzīgs. Un tā ir ļoti spēcīga, teiksim tā, intelektuālā bāze šajā sporta veidā. Viennozīmīgi labākā Latvijā. Esam bijuši gan Amerikā, gan Brazīlijā, gan Ukrainā, Eiropa krustām šķērsām. 5 reizes gadā braucam uz Čehiju, kur ir visspēcīgākais līmenis pasaulē. Čehijā ir kādi 5 pasaules čempioni. Tagad arī Latvijā ir viens.
Yes, applause for the video. But that's not all. All the results. I wanted to show you one last slide also.
Peter, I have bad news for you.
I have just 1 minute. Because I noticed we started later.
It's already too many minutes. I'm sorry. We have to wrap up to actually have time for other people.
Yeah, but this is the last one. I just wanted to mention that not all the results. Johannes, whom you saw, that he was chosen the Citizen of the Year of Sindi for 2013. This is Johannes's granddaughter. Thanks to this track in Sindi, she has been for 3 years in a row the best girl racer in Estonia. And this is Karl Arons, the old guy who was the first speaking, his grandchild. So they and some other guys from Pärnu County around Sindi, they have collected like half of cups and medals on Estonian competition during the last years. So, and all thanks to this small investment. So, yeah. So that's our result. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I wanted to thank you also Central Baltic Programme, because it was great fun collecting all this material. And visit our box. There are animations on the screen of Estonia-Latvia program. So thank you. Sorry for being over time. It's just
we can still manage, so no worries. A good example how a passion can turn an idea into reality. We will now continue with the next one, Latvia-Lithuania. So do you want to put your presentation on yourself?
Well, I will do it.
And again, 12 minutes. And I try to really, Linda Šarķe-Fedjajeva, to pronounce your name right.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks.
So the stage is yours, and we are looking forward to the next one. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm very glad to be here, and on behalf of the Latvia-Lithuania Cross-Border Cooperation Program, I would like to say thank you for possibility to be here and present one of the best results, one of the best projects with the results from Latvia-Lithuania program. And we want to show you that we are really proud of them. And the project I will talk about is Mid-Baltic Crafts. So here will come presentation. It will, right? Yeah, while presentation is coming, then I have to say that we had a great struggle which project should be presented here, as we have a lot of good examples. But yeah, we decided to present Mid-Baltic Crafts, as this project was with quite large partnership. Initially it was 14 partners, then came the reform of territory in Latvia, and it finished with 11 partners, and it was bigger than Peter's project. We had 1 million with something in this project, but still the results are really good. Okay. Yeah. So I will start my presentation with why this project was needed. Together with the lead partner of this project, we just came till 4 reasons, and one of the most important reasons were that this project was seen as a potential, as a really great potential for the region's development. And as I said, that there were 11 partners, and you can imagine that the partnership, like in territory-wise, it was quite large. One more argument was that crafts has a great potential to foster entrepreneurship and therefore bring added value, economic added value to local municipalities in the type of taxes paid. Additionally, this project is important from perspective of cultural heritage. This project could contribute for preservation and promotion of disappearing craft skills and traditions. And at last, but not at least, this project could solve some tourism seasonality issues. As we are really short in time, I understood, then I will just run through without any additional details. When we are coming to project results, we have divided them in 2 groups. We have divided them in tangible results and intangible results. So from perspective of Joint Technical Secretariat, this project was quite complicated. As the partnership was wide, the activities were really a lot of them. And and the money, of course, was quite big for this project. But still, here we'll talk about these results. And during the project, partnership has done a great job in acknowledging and gathering information about the craftsmen working and living in project partnership territory. Therefore, the database was created. The awareness was raised in the municipalities as well about the craftsmen who are working there, what kind of skills they are presenting, and the variety of these crafts. This information was afterwards presented in catalogs of traditional crafts and in Zemgale, it's the southern part of Latvia, and northern Lithuania. These catalogs are visible on our stand as well. So one of more tangible results are 10 craft centers created across the border. You can see them there. And none of these craft centers are like others. So they are focusing on different fields, crafts, of course, but different crafts. There is wood processing, there's ceramics, there is a textile processing, weaving, knitting, wool felting, and so on. And they are working on different type of auditory. It's touristic as well, and for example, the school children. They are cooperating with the local school, and they are offering for school children to have informal education possibilities. So we are very glad that some of these craft centers have become as a center of the city or the settlement where they are built, as they are not only in the regional centers, they are in small villages, and the results. And these centers, they are really great. So I would like to show you two centers. One is Dobele Crafts House, we are really proud of. They are working mainly on knitting, weaving, and sieving. But this center has become as one of the central buildings in this city, and they offer not only local inhabitants regular workshops on different crafts, but as well the tourists and as well the complex approach for example, for weddings and those who would like to have something. So this is the place where people just come and feel good, not only have workshops and so on. They are offering as well the exhibition hall for local craftsmen. And one other center, which is located in more in eastern part of Latvia, in Zemgale, is Zasa Crafts Center. This center is working more with wood processing and ceramics. And what is special about this center, they have built it by themselves. These local craftsmen who are living in this territory, they have built it from fundament till the roof by themselves. Municipality provided the land. They said, okay, you can do it here, and they did it. In project, partnership has created 5 tourism routes of crafts and for different type of tourists. Everybody can find something for themselves. Then really huge activities. Well, during the project, a lot of different marketing activities were made. Partnership had a complex approach for everything. If they created the tourism route, then they promoted it in tourism exhibition. Afterwards, not afterwards, but they brought the craftsmen as well to this exhibition to make them visible, to show people what can they get if they go to this specific place. So now I would like to talk about the intangible results. And I think that one of the most important intangible result is experience, enrichment, and mutual inspiration. During the project, there were a lot of workshops and plein airs for the craftsmen, and it was planned and it was done in the way that Latvian and Lithuanian craftsmen are working in one team. So if Latvians are more functional, then Lithuanians are more tended to beauty. They make one, for example, chair, but Latvians are making it functional, but Lithuanians are making it really beautiful. They are carving some details and so on. And this mutual cooperation, by making something common, it's brought really priceless experience, and craftsmen said that it was something really needed for them. And as far as I know, that this cooperation between craftsmen who work together, it's still ongoing in some cases. From this, we can say that the networking was very important in this project as well, as the craftsmen and the project partners were working together jointly for a lot of activities. Then this networking was really important, as the new project ideas came out from this networking as well. So one more thing they did, it is capacity building for the craftsmen, for the center coordinators. It was they were seminars and workshops, and at first they just acknowledged needs and then organized the seminars in order to make craftsmen and center coordinators more educated in, for example, in internet marketing and taxes and legislation issues and so on. Of course, the project brought a great contribution to preservation and promotion of intangible heritage. And I would like to say that it increased the attractiveness of the region, definitely, as these centers which were created, they are serving as a place where to meet and and how to attract the people to crafts. So in general, if we talk why this project was so successful, is that at first its complex approach in activities, its stakeholder involvement, quite good stakeholder involvement. The territorial coverage was quite wide. And the main thing is that the idea was in right time, in right idea at the right time, and they received financing, and that was really good for them as well. And of course, extensive and well-coordinated management and cooperation of the project from the both sides. And what about the beyond the project? As the project ended in 2011, then we can see that during these 4 years, the cooperation is still ongoing. The support from local municipalities, there is support from local municipalities. They are offering money for the central coordinators. So they are paying salary for them. There are new ideas, new joint events, and Zasa Crafts Center have established the association, and they are attracting new financing. So I hope that I was in time, and thank you for attention, and you are welcome to visit our stand outside the hall. Thanks.
Thank you, Linda, for sharing this story with us. The third one coming up is the South Baltic Programme's example of a great result, and it will be given by Vassilen Iotzov. Thank you. I will put it on. You can start.
Well, thank you very much. I must say I'm very pleased to share a story with you in the same line, in the same train of thoughts as such interesting examples as to how cross-border efforts, cross-border merits can result in something that's very concrete and tangible and intangible beyond the project lifetime. And I hope that I can give you a different perspective as to how this can work out in practice in a slightly different context. And I'm very, very happy that Agnes mentioned previously the project interface in the context of results for connectivity, because this is obviously where my story originates from. As Kersti already mentioned, this is a story from the south of the Baltic, and it involves 2 of our member states. It involves Denmark and Germany. The story will begin in Rostock and will end in Copenhagen. And I have to say that actually this is a real story with a real character. Of course, we have restaged some of the scenes in order, for the sake of narrative completeness. But in fact, this story actually happened, and probably it happens as I speak now. And I'm confident that it will happen a lot also in the years to come. So the story starts in Rostock. And will end in the Danish capital in Copenhagen. And the main storyline is a cross-border multimodal journey. For those who are not familiar with the term multimodality, multimodal means, in this particular case, that we involve the public transport network of the Rostock metropolitan area, which brings passengers from the Rostock metropolitan area to the port of Rostock. Next stage is the Scandline ferry, which brings the food passengers from the port of Rostock to the port of Gedser in Denmark. And from the port of Gedser, we involve the public transport operator of the town of Nykøbing in Denmark, which brings the passengers from the port of Gedser to the town of Nykøbing. And the final stage is the intervention from the Danish railways, which will bring then the passengers from the town of Nykøbing to the Danish capital, Copenhagen. In fact, this is probably, you may think this is quite usual. This is something that we are doing probably on daily basis. But I can assure you there is something unique about this itinerary, about this story. And I'd like to reveal this uniqueness using our character. So I'd like to introduce to you Susanne. She's 25 years old, graduate from the University of Rostock. Graduated just recently, and she sent several unsolicited applications to companies, one of which based in Copenhagen, the Danish capital. And unexpectedly, Susanne receives a phone call from the Danish company based in Copenhagen. She's invited to a job interview. Susanne is extremely happy, of course, and now she starts to investigate how to reach Copenhagen. And obviously, as usual, it is on very short notice. It has to happen very quickly. And of course, the most important issue for Susanne is to find a budget solution to get to Copenhagen. So she starts to investigate. And she checks the itineraries using the railways. She checks the air connections. She checks the bus connections. But obviously, the fact that it is a very short notice booking additionally inflates the cost. So she's almost desperate to find a suitable connection. And then, in a moment of epiphany, she remembers something that she has seen at the Central Railway Station in Rostock. And it caught her attention because it is quite unusual to have, and I'm referring to this small ship icon. It is unusual and it is conspicuous because this is actually a conventional information board that you will see actually in the Rostock metropolitan area. So you will expect icons like buses and trams, suburban trains, for example, not the ship. Now she remembers this, and she simply opened the website of the public transport operator of the Rostock metropolitan area, only to realize that there is a perfectly matching, a perfectly aligned connection from the city of Rostock all the way to Nyköping, to the town of Nyköping. It's perfectly aligned also with the schedule of the Scandline ferries. So basically we have alignment of 2 different public transport networks and a ferry operator. And what is even more important is that she can make this journey from Rostock, crossing the Baltic Sea, to the town of Nyköping with one single ticket. And she can return on the same day. And what is even more important for Susanne is that she can make this journey with this one single ticket only for 22 euros to Nyköping and back. Just a little reference to underline the difference. The price for an air connection or for the train connection will be probably the 8-fold or 9-fold. Of course, Susanne books this ticket. And this is just a close-up to show you what she's looking at. This is how the Danish and German partners are rolling out this model as referred to as intercombi ticket. By the way, within the trial phase of this ticket sold 10,000 times, so obviously there is demand. And with the ticket in her pocket, she embarks on this multimodal cross-border journey, starting at the Central Railway Station in Rostock, where she embarks the bus, and obviously the bus will bring her to the ferry terminal. She realizes there is another information board, which is quite convenient because when she comes back, she knows that she will have a precise information as to when she can go back home. Moving inside the terminal, she realizes there are additional screens, multimodal information screens, and only now she realizes that those screens do not simply list the information as to when one of these transport modes will depart, but they list dynamic information. So if there is a delay, they will automatically indicate the delay, highlighted in red here, and obviously aligning it with the next stage of the transport. The passengers will know very precisely whether they will manage to take the next stage or not. Finally, she embarks the vessel. Inside the ship, she realizes there is another screen, and that's just a close-up of the screen that she's looking at. Obviously, due to bad weather, due to the embarkation procedures, we have a delay. Susanne's ship has a delay, and this delay is indicated automatically. The algorithm calculates automatically the delay. But no reason to panic for Susanne, because the very next line indicates that despite this delay, she can still manage to take the bus to Nyköping and the subsequent travel from Nyköping to Copenhagen. Now she's finally in Denmark, and she's standing in front of another information board. That's the port of Gedser. this information board, probably not very well visible, but this information board displays additional dynamic information concerning the following steps, namely the bus to Nyköping and then the subsequent train to Copenhagen. Here, Susanna is already on board the bus. That's a close-up picture of the information board in the bus. She's relieved. She will manage the train. But probably she crossed too soon because there is another obstacle. Namely, there is a construction site on the way from Nyköping to Copenhagen. And obviously, because of this construction site, the bus driver has to slow down a little, which results in a delay. And then the system automatically, the algorithm automatically calculates the delay, sends it to the system, which is then transferred to this board. And the delay is displayed, highlighted in red. Again, no reason to panic for Susanna because the next line indicates she still, despite this delay, she still can manage to take the train to Copenhagen. And now she finally, eventually manages, that's the central railway station of Nyköping, and she successfully embarks the train. Obviously very straightforward, convenient service. Susanna is quite satisfied with this service, but what she does not realize though is this. I do not have the intention to explain this algorithm to you. I just want to reveal the complexity of this very straightforward and simple service for our fellow citizens. And I think it's, we can justifiably argue that this service that you have just seen will not have happened without cross-border efforts. Because very, very often, and actually this happened for the very first time, that transport operators from two different countries bury the hatches, if you like. It does not happen very frequently because even sometimes in the same metropolitan area, you have different transport providers that cannot agree. But in this case, transport operators from two different countries operating different modes have agreed to embark on this joint endeavor of a cross-border ticket, to share data, and not only to share the data, but to find a technological solution how to fetch this data from these very different transport modes, and to assimilate it into the service that you have just seen. It is unique because it is actually the first of its kind in the European Union. And it is the first of its kind. Probably you will find similar solutions, not necessarily multimodal, not necessarily cross-border, but this is the first multimodal cross-border, and on top of that, dynamic information system. And of course, we shall not forget the complexity of the ferry in between. Because of the embarkation procedures, because of the corridor taken, there are a lot of factors that need to be taken into account in order to calculate this smooth connectivity between Germany and Denmark. So I just like to reiterate once again, this will not have happened without cross-border cooperation. And just a little epilogue. Susanna is planning already her next trip. She was obviously very satisfied with this service, and she's planning her next trip using this multimodal cross-border service because, and this is how the story ends with a happy end, because she got the job in Copenhagen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vassilen. I think all these three examples were very good for illustrating the value of cross-border cooperation. And that was what the whole first session was about. So thank you for illustrating that even better. We will now break for lunch. And we are in good, the schedule has kept well, yes. We will come back here 1:30. The lunch is served at the restaurant where you had your coffee break. So enjoy, relax, and do come back.